Welcome to the Make More Money as a Dietitian podcast. I am your host, Christine Diane Thompson, and this podcast is for dietitians who are ready to stop apologizing for wanting more money, more freedom, and a career that actually honors everything that you bring to the table. This is where we ditch the guilt and start building something big. If that resonates with you, let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. Hey there, my friends. Welcome to episode 360 of the Make More Money as a Dietitian podcast. I'm so happy that you are here for this episode today. Excuse me while I have a frog in my throat. Today, we're talking about freedom and money and how to design your practice around your life without sacrificing your income. Okay. And I know that this is the dream that so many of you have probably been told is impossible. Okay. But you want both, right? You want the freedom to maybe pick up your kids from school and to take a real lunch break and maybe even to have weekends that are actually yours. And you want to make up money doing work that truly matters. But sometimes it's like everywhere we look, we're getting the messages that you have to choose. Either you have to work all the hours to make the decent money, or you have flexibility, but yet you struggle financially. And here's what I know after mentoring so many dietitians: that's complete trash. It is very untrue. The ones making the most money aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones who designed their businesses around their lives and not the other way around. Okay. So today we're going to blow up the myth that you can't have both freedom and money. I'm going to show you exactly how to design your practice around your life without sacrificing your income, because you absolutely can have both. So, let's start with the truth. Okay. Most of you listening right now have been conditioned to believe that wanting both freedom and money is super unrealistic, that real professionals sacrifice their personal lives for their careers, that you're not available, or that if you're not available whenever clients need you, you're not serious about your business. I even had someone tell me that if you're not available, then you more than likely are going to lose that client. Like if you're not available whenever they want you to be available, or if you don't enforce your policies, then you'll likely lose a client. And this is just all programming, my friends. It is crazy trash, and it's not serving us. I see dietitians all the time who are making decent money but are absolutely miserable. They're chained to their phones, taking calls during family dinners, working on the weekends or during vacation time, and calling it dedication to their clients. But here's what I want you to consider. What if the most professional thing you can do is show up fully present when you are working? What if having boundaries actually makes you better at your job? I have worked with clients who used to take all the calls at all hours because they were afraid of losing income. When they finally set boundaries, though, like specific work hours, no weekend availability, yada, 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 okay, something really interesting happened. Their clients actually respected them more. Their referrals increased and their income actually went up. Okay. Because here's what no one talks about, my friends. When you have no boundaries, you attract clients who don't respect your boundaries. When you're available all the time, you train people to expect that. And when clients who don't respect your time show up, they rarely respect your expertise or your rates. So let's talk about the myth that you can't have both, okay? Freedom and money, okay? You can absolutely have both freedom and money. In fact, I'd argue that they're not just compatible, they are complementary. The dietitians that I know who have both freedom and a high income have figured out three key things that I want to share with you today. First, they have separated time from value. Okay. So most dietitians are still stuck in the employee mindset where more hours equals more money. But in business, my friends, results equal money. A client who transforms their relationship with food doesn't care if those sessions happened at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. They care about the outcome. All right. Excuse me, I know dietitians who only work 3 or 4 days a week, but make more money than those working 5 or 6 days because they've positioned themselves as experts in their niche. Their clients wait for their availability because they're the ones who get results. All right. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you that will help break this myth that money and freedom can't go together is this. The dietitians who truly understand that money and freedom go together have designed systems that work without them. Okay. So, what this means is the higher earning or the highest earning dietitians aren't just trading their time for money, they're trading their expertise for money. And so they've created programs and courses and other systems in their business that generate income even when they're not actively working. Third, they've attracted clients who value boundaries. Now, when you respect your own time, you attract clients who respect your time. It's a win-win situation. When you charge premium rates, you can attract clients who see the value in premium service. It's not about working more hours, my friends. It's about working with better clients. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Christine, I can't just work 3 days a week. I need the money. And I get it. But what if I told you that most of you are working way more hours than necessary for the income that you're generating? What if the problem is not that you need more hours, but that you need to use your hours more efficiently? Oh, okay. So that's just something to kind of noodle on a bit here. All right. Let's dig into a little bit more of a practical roadmap, so to speak. Let's get practical. Here's exactly how you can create flexibility without sacrificing your income. The first step is auditing your current reality. So I want you to track every hour that you spend on your business for just 1 week. Not just client hours. I want you to track everything. So you're going to track your admin time, how much time you spend reading and responding to email, how much time you're spending on social media if you use social media for your business, how much time you're using planning ahead for certain things in your business. How much time you plan, I mean, not plan, but how much time you spend worrying about your business while you're supposed to be relaxing. Most of my dietitian clients are shocked when they see the real numbers because, once again, as I always say, business is math. All right. So you might think you're working 30 hours a week, but when you include all the mental energy and the scattered tasks, it's usually going to be closer to 50. So, step one, audit your current reality. Step two, identify your income generating activities. All of those hours that you have tracked, which ones are actually generating income? Because for most of you, it's going to fall into four categories: direct client sessions, creating and selling programs or courses, marketing activities that bring in new clients, and referral relationship building. Okay, those are your four income generating activity categories. All right, direct client sessions, creating and selling programs, marketing activities that actually bring in new clients, and referral relationship building, like with other practitioners, whether that's doctors or therapists or whatever. But everything else is overhead, and overhead is where your freedom lives. All right. So I want you to identify your income generating activities within that time audit. And then the third step is to design your ideal week. And this is how we change things in our practices. I want you to design your week at first and then figure out how to make your business fit into it, not the other way around. Design your ideal week. That means on the personal side of things. And then you put your business into it. All right. When do you want to see clients? What days do you want off completely? When do you do your best creative work? Is it in the morning? Is it in the mid afternoon? Is it in the evening? And when do you want to be unavailable to clients? I've worked with so many dietitians who do all their client sessions on certain days, and they create content on other days, and then they take full days completely off because I have helped them feel comfortable with creating this type of week for themselves. And then they make more money than they did working 5 days a week because they're operating from a place of energy and intention, not exhaustion and obligation. So, the fourth part of this, structure your offers. Okay. This is where the money strategy actually comes in. Okay. So instead of trying to fit flexibility around your current business model, I want you to change your business model to create flexibility. So this could look like group programs instead of only doing one-on-ones. All right. You can have one group program with 12 people instead of serving 12 people one-offs. Okay, it's the same expertise, same outcomes, but you just multiplied your income while reducing your time commitment. You can also consider having intensive days instead of scattered sessions. So instead of 1 hour sessions spread throughout the week, you can offer half day or full day intensives, depending on how you serve your clients, or not necessarily how you serve, but what your expertise is. What is your niche? What would it look like to have um, a half day or a full day intensive with someone? I feel like this would be so good for my integrative and functional medicine dietitians. This will be so good. A full day or half day intensive where you're really digging into all the things. Your clients actually get concentrated value and you get concentrated income and more free days. All right. It can also look like restructuring your offer to be more of a recurring revenue instead of session by session. So this could look like creating a membership program or some ongoing support packages in whatever way you can creatively put those packages together. Because predictable income means you can plan your flexibility instead of constantly chasing the next client. Now, the fifth and final step in all of this is to set and communicate your boundaries. All right. This is where most dietitians have a difficult time. They create the flexibility, but then apologize for it. They make exceptions and then undermine their own boundaries. Remember, your boundaries are not just a suggestion, they are a business policy. Okay. So when a potential client says they can only meet outside of your scheduled hours, you don't say, well, I guess I can make an exception. No, my friend. You say, I understand that's challenging for your schedule, and my current availability is X. If that doesn't work, I'd be happy to refer you to someone who might have different hours, or we can explore if one of my self paced programs would be a better fit. All right. Will you lose some potential clients? Maybe, yeah. Will they be replaced by better clients who respect your boundaries and are willing to pay your rates? Also, yes. Okay. So, here are a few mindset shifts that make all of this work. Okay. Because this is where most of us get stuck. First shift, I want you to shift from servant to expert, because you are not a servant. You are an expert. Servants are available whenever needed. Experts have office hours, my friends. When you position yourself as an expert, people expect you to have boundaries. When you position yourself as a helper or a servant who's just grateful for any client, people expect you to be available when it's convenient for them. So I want you to shift from servitude to expertise. All right. Now, the second mindset shift is from guilty to generous. Okay. So, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. And you know this in theory. I'm going to remind you. Taking care of yourself is generous, because when you're rested, you're boundaried, and you're operating from a place of choice rather than obligation, you show up different for everyone. Your clients don't need a martyr, my friends. They need someone who's modeling what's healthy when it comes to boundaries. And the third and final mindset shift that I want to encourage you to take is shifting from scarcity to abundance. The fear underneath all of what I'm talking to you about today is scarcity. So it could sound like, what if I set boundaries and no one wants to work with me? What if I lose money? What if I'm not as successful? But here is the truth. Scarcity thinking creates scarcity results. When you operate from abundance, trusting that the right clients will work within your boundaries, that you can create multiple streams of income, that your expertise is valuable enough to command premium rates, you create abundant results. You have the permission, my friends, to want both. You have permission to be successful and have a life. You have permission to make money and have flexibility. These are not contradictory goals, they are complementary ones. So, let's talk about some common objections and some real talk responses. Okay. So, I want to talk about some objections that may be running through your head right now. So you might be thinking, but Christine, my clients expect me to be available. And my response to that is no. You have trained your clients to expect you to be available, and you can retrain them. Start by communicating your boundaries clearly and consistently by enforcing them. Another objection that you might be thinking right now is, I can't afford to lose clients right now. And I say you can't afford to keep clients who don't respect your boundaries. They're costing you more than money. They're costing you energy, time with your family, and they're costing you your mental health. You might also be thinking, other dietitians in my area work evenings and weekends. And I say, good, let them, okay? You're not competing on availability, you're competing on results. So position yourself as the dietitian who gets exceptional outcomes because you're operating from a place of energy and intention. And lastly, you might be thinking this: I feel guilty charging premium rates for fewer hours. And I say this: you are not charging for hours. You are charging for the outcomes that you provide. A surgeon does not apologize for completing a procedure in 2 hours instead of 4. Your efficiency is a feature, my friends. So here's what I want you to remember. Every single successful business owner you admire has figured out how to create flexibility without sacrificing their income. It's not because they're lucky. It is not because they're different. It's because they've made different choices. So your homework this week is simple, yet not easy. First, I want you to do that time audit, okay? Track every minute that you spend on your business for 1 week, because you cannot change what you do not measure. Then I want you to design your ideal week. What would work look like if you designed it around your life instead of defaulting to everyone else's expectations? And lastly, I want you to pick one boundary to implement, just one. Maybe it's no client calls after 6 p.m. Maybe it's taking Fridays off. Maybe it's not checking email on the weekends. I want you to start small, but just start. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to understand that your business should enhance your life, not consume it. Your expertise should create freedom and flexibility. And your success should feel sustainable, not like you're constantly on the edge of burnout. You did not become a dietitian to sacrifice your life for your career. You became a dietitian to help people transform their relationship with food and health. Do that from a place of choice, energy, and abundance. Stop apologizing, my friends, for wanting more freedom and flexibility, and then start designing a business that gives it to you. All right, my friends. I hope that was helpful. I hope it was inspiring and motivating. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to share it with another dietitian who needs to hear this message. Have a great rest of your week and the weekend ahead. I'll see you on our next episode of Do All of the Things. Bye for now. Hey there, my friend. If something in today's episode hit different, I'd love that for you. This week, I invite you to take one action that feels a little scary, yet honors your work. And for more resources and ways to work together, head on over to manipuracenter.co. Remember, You're not asking for too much, my friend. You've just been settling for too little.